It's been a while since I've responded to an activist journalist having a meltdown over a TV show or movie. And while I was looking at stuff about the Acolyte's cancellation, I came across this gem from Diva magazine. And after reading the first paragraph, I knew it was time to do another journalist takedown. What better way to lower the Acolyte into its cortosis grave than to watch someone try to defend the biggest waste of $180 million outside of paying the salaries of the 535 members of the United States Congress for 2 years? And yes, that is how the math of their salaries works out. By the way, if you like these journalist takedown videos, the easiest and most effective form of positive feedback to get me to make more of them is to hit subscribe. Alright, let's go. The Acolyte premiered on 4 June and attracted over 4 million views on its first day, making it the biggest premiere of the year. Now, I assume this means the biggest Disney Plus premiere of the year. I don't know because this was written by either a chimpanzee or an AI in beta testing, but the biggest premiere of the year was definitely not The Acolyte, because presumably that would include movies as well. So what's it competing with to be the biggest Disney Plus premiere of the year? Well, I've got a handy-dandy list. Ready? Echo, the X-Men 97 animated series, Iwaju, sure, apparently that's a thing, A Real Bug's Life, Choir, these are actual Disney Plus titles that apparently exist, People and Places, Are You Sure? I'm not asking you a question, that's the name of the show, and Doctor Who Series 14, which I have only heard horror stories about and isn't technically a Disney Plus original. So 4 of those are docuseries. If we take out the docuseries and only include actual Disney Plus originals, then The Acolyte had the biggest premiere of a field that included Echo, X-Men 97, Iwaju, and Renegade Nell. Congrats, that's the equivalent of having the best 400-meter dash time in the whole fat camp.
Attention campers, lunch has been cancelled today due to lack of hustle. Deal with it.
Geez, we're one sentence into this. Alright, moving on. This impressively broke previous Disney Plus streaming records. Well, that's just not true. I don't remember all the premiere numbers for every show, but I distinctly remember that the Ahsoka premiere got 14 million views. So that's just a straight up lie. Well, no. I'll give the benefit of the doubt here and assume she means the actual first day viewership numbers, not the first episode over a week or a longer period of time. That's a worthless number, but fine. This informal accolade had previously been held by titles including Little Mermaid and The Bear. Well, that is some elite company right there.
Remember my song in the swamp when I was like, whap, chicka, whap, whap, chicka, whap.
I mean, Little Mermaid did have the viewership numbers, I'll give it that, but what is The Bear? I know the show called The Bear about the chef that goes home to save his family's sandwich shop, but that's not a Disney Plus show. 3 sentences in, this article is a masterclass in terrible writing. I don't know what the writer is saying. She says The Acolyte broke Disney Plus records, but then she references a show from Hulu. The show features a diverse LGBTQIA cast, literally over a quarter of the alphabet is in that acronym, including notably the first trans actor in the Star Wars franchise, Abigail Thorne. So, Abigail Thorne played the second lesbian witch mom. The one who really wanted to attack the Jedi, basically encouraged May to imprison Osha, and then disappeared in a black mist and went unaccounted for after that. It's so good to see trans people getting quality roles that really matter. Anyway, joined by a stellar lineup of Amanda Stenberg, Charlie Barnett, Manny Jacinto, and Daphne Keane, childhood star of Logan, among others. Yes, a truly stellar lineup. Move over, Ocean's 11, The Acolyte is here. When I think of an all-star cast, I think of a lead whose sole career highlights are a small, activist movie about police brutality and playing a little girl in the Hunger Games 12 years ago, who had 16 lines, 6 of which were 3 words or less. When I think of an all-star cast, I think of a supporting actor whose biggest project, outside of being a semi-regular on Chicago Fire, was playing Air Force MP No. 2 in Men in Black 3. Manny Jacinto and Daphne Keane are actually pretty good actors. They didn't deserve to be attached to this show. Okay, back to the article because it's about to get really good. Set before The Phantom Menace, The Acolyte follows a former Padawan's, Stenberg, reunion with her Jedi Master, Barnett, as they investigate interstellar crimes. Did you watch this show, Lania? Miss Hamilton, did you even watch the show? Osha's former master is not Charlie Barnett's Yord, it's Lee Jung-jae's Master Soul. And what kind of plot synopsis is this? She reunites with her Jedi Master as they investigate interstellar crimes? Like, I guess that's not wrong, but from that synopsis, it sounds like The Acolyte was a buddy cop TV show. I wasn't really joking when I insinuated this journalist might not have actually watched the show. If you like this show, why would you boil it down to interstellar crimes? Not the resurgence of the Sith? Not a slew of Jedi killings? This is a summary of a high school English student who didn't actually do the reading and just took a guess. And how did you get the actor wrong? How difficult is it to pull up IMDb and look? Here, I'll do it right now. IMDb. Huh? Ready? The Acolyte. Yeah, there we go. Master Soul. Boom. There. Took like 5 seconds. Whatever. Let's get to why this journalist actually likes The Acolyte, regardless of if she's even seen a trailer for it. Stenberg identifies as non-binary and gay, and also Barnett identifies as gay. I could legitimately go for 5 minutes on this one sentence. We'll start with the structure. Stenberg identifies as non-binary and gay, and also Barnett identifies as gay. This is terrible writing. It's not wrong grammatically, you're allowed to have redundant words, but why would you write it that way? Why would you think that's the smoothest way to get your point across? Why wouldn't you catch that when you went back and read through your article a third and fourth time? And this isn't a long article, there's no excuse for not proofreading it. But let's get to the more juicy incoherent part of it. Non-binary and gay. What would that possibly mean? Let's just assume for a second that I've bought into this whole gender identity ideology. I haven't, but let's pretend I have. How can you be non-binary and gay? To be gay means to be attracted to the same gender as you. Non-binary isn't a gender. It's just not male or female, supposedly. Like in terms of my profession, I'm a non-teacher, but that doesn't describe what my job actually is. It just says what it's not. So what gender is Amanda Stenberg actually attracted to? This isn't that important, or at least it shouldn't be, to the failure of The Acolyte. But this entire paragraph is about this stupid, irrelevant stuff, and it's incoherent, so I'm picking it apart. I didn't deem it important. Lania did. As well as casting queer actors, Acolyte creator Leslie Headland confirmed in an interview that she is into The Acolyte being the gayest Star Wars yet, as well as confirming the existing canon of R2-D2 being a lesbian. Ah yes, the famous interview that sealed The Acolyte's fate before the first episode had a heartbeat. I don't think I ever deliberately addressed this interview on the channel, but it was legitimately the most unbelievable interview I've ever seen. Everybody was ripping into it for revealing the two women's insistence that Star Wars is super gay, rather than, just a long beloved story with mass appeal. But what was truly incredible was something the interviewer said and Stenberg's response.
Because nerds are gay.
Well, some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true. But in my world, nerds are gay.
That is incredible. That response from Amanda, who took so many L's that one found its way into her name somehow, Stenberg, is one huge middle finger to the fan base she relies on to watch and enjoy her show. Star Wars is for nerds. That includes me. I mean, I played college football, but I'm also an engineer, so I feel like I still count as a nerd. Stenberg says that nerds are gay. Combe over here corrects her and says, well, some nerds are not gay, but they're really threatened by gays, which I've always found to be a hilarious notion that straight people are threatened by gay people. What exactly is supposed to be threatening to me? They're gay. I've literally never had to compete with a gay man to win a romantic partner because they don't want any of the girls that I've ever been interested in. Because they're gay. But I'm getting sidetracked. See, if a normal person who was not impressively unlikable heard that said about their audience, they would say, whoa, whoa, whoa. Nerds come from all different walks of life. The thing that unites them is they love this universe and are desperate to see a great story. But that's not what Amanda did. She confirmed him. She split all of Star Wars fandom into one of two groups. You're either gay or you're scared of gay people. And then they cope by claiming that the vast hatred for the Acolyte came because nerds despise gay people. We don't despise gay people. We despise terrible writing. We despise terrible acting. We despise stories that stand on the shoulders of better stories that came before and spit in those stories' faces. And frankly, we despise people who have nothing but contempt for normal people while they laugh next to Harvey Weinstein's perfectly blind aide. Oh, and as far as R2-D2 being a canonical lesbian,
R2 will be along in a few moments, and then he'll release the ray shields.
Now, I would say that it's weird to assign R2-D2 any sort of sexual orientation because he's a robot. But canonically, he's referred to as he, so he literally can't be a lesbian. Arguably, the queerness of large franchises such as Star Wars provides a remarkable litmus test of mainstream attitudes towards the LGBTQIA community, which is why its cancellation is equally noteworthy. It must hurt your brain to be so dogmatically beholden to an ideology that requires you to twist every single thing that happens anywhere into a commentary on how much society hates you. A show set in the universe of a large franchise failed miserably equals America hates gays. And it never goes the other way, I notice. When a show features a gay character and it gets broad praise, that's never a litmus test proving that America loves gays. Arcane featured gay characters and everyone loved it. Its first episode got almost 12 times the viewership of the Acolyte's premiere. And if your rebuttal to that is League of Legends isn't a quote-unquote large franchise like Star Wars, it's got over 150 million members, 117 of which are active monthly. To put that into perspective, Jedi Fallen Order sold 20 million copies. I understand that game wasn't free, but we're talking just sheer size of the franchise, and League of Legends is huge. And I will bring up, before I continue, Lania here has yet to make a single remark about anything that was actually in the show, aside from giving a vague summary that suggested she might not have even watched the show and getting the actor who played a character wrong. Some fans have taken to X to voice their concerns. I know a lot of weird people on the internet made it their whole personality to hate it. Okay, stop right here. If you're wondering why you've been seeing a sharp uptick in people using the word weird as an insult like it's some great own, it's because the Democrat Party decided to label J.D. Vance, Trump's running mate, and Republicans writ large as weird, and they've really been hammering that. Now, I don't care which side of the political aisle you're on. If politicians are determining the language you use to describe people you disagree with, even in a non-political setting, you're a loser. I can't confirm that's what this person was doing, but I do know I never saw people lobbing the weird insult like water balloons until about a month ago. But it was genuinely some of my favorite Star Wars. Period. Many people I know enjoyed it. Sad day. Still nothing cited from the actual show, but this user also spelled favorite in the My Country Hasn't Been to the Moon way, so disregard.
Rock flag and eagle.
The Acolyte getting cancelled is maybe the most disappointing thing that I've witnessed from Star Wars in a while, and that's saying something, another wrote. Again, this is the thinnest article ever written. These were the 2 quotes from X you found? 2 users who are just vaguely disappointed the show isn't continuing? They don't even provide a reason, they just liked the show, I guess? Actually, the second person didn't even say they liked it. Speaking of which, this person who supposedly has been disappointed by Star Wars in the recent past but loved the Acolyte, I would love to ask them what from Star Wars has disappointed them and why the Acolyte is better. Honestly though, if you're not going to embed the tweet in your article, or at least put the person's username after the post content, why not just make something up? Make up someone who has a good argument instead of just, I'm sad. Oh no, you found 2 people who liked the Acolyte. And I say that because I'm not convinced Lania didn't make these 2 posts up. Usually if you copy and paste the contents of a post into Google, a link to the post will come up. But not with these, I tried it earlier. So just make up something good. The production company Lucasfilm, because anyone who writes about Star Wars and watches Star Wars on a regular basis feels the need to specify what Lucasfilm is. The production company Lucasfilm, however, in spite of the show's great success and queer representation, has decided not to proceed with Season 2. What great success! The only metric you've provided is the numbers from the premiere. You know there were 6 other episodes, right? Were those raging successes? How about the finale? How about the merchandise? How about the toys? And how are you seriously labeling the premiere a huge success? The premiere was episodes 1 and 2. So those 4.1 million views come from combining the viewership of 2 episodes. The first episode opened with 2.9 million, which means the second episode's viewership got slashed by over 60% to 1.2 million. Here, let's do an exercise. Let's see how many YouTube videos about the Acolyte got more views than the actual premiere of episode 2. Here we go. Acolyte reaction. Alright, here we go. View count. Alright, what did I say? 1.2 million? Okay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15. There are 15 videos, a roaring success, $22 million per episode to get outviewed by a dude who calls himself Moist Charlie. That's pathetic. And even if you can misconstrue the premiere as a massive success, it still completely ignores the much more important metric. How did the show finish? If an NFL team starts the season 3-0 and then finishes last in the division, the coach is still probably going to get fired. And the Acolyte finished dead last. Its finale was the least viewed finale from any Star Wars or Marvel show. Even less than Miss Marvel, and that didn't get a second season either. Alright, where are we? The show was canceled a month after the release of its first season. The news is seemingly unsurprising to fans. Well, yeah, because it sucked. With online abuse and disgruntled viewers. Okay, hold up. You can't just throw out a claim of online abuse and not back it up with anything. And it should be easy to find at least one post that was over the line. You know how many nut jobs are on X? Saying this show sucks is an abuse. Saying Amanda Stenberg is a terrible actress whose capacity for showing emotions is constrained to just screaming also isn't abuse. In fact, I would argue that saying something along the lines of Amanda Stenberg or Leslie Headland is a terrible person is also fine in my book. Since Stenberg blanket labeled millions of people threatened by gays and released a cringy diss track attacking the people that made the franchise that paid her millions of dollars into what it is, and Headland was literally Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant. Who else from the cast is getting any sort of hate? Not their characters, the actual actors, aside from people making fun of Charlie Barnett saying that Anakin blew up the Death Star.
You can't look and see that Anakin blowing up the Death Star possibly killed millions and millions of people. Well, Anakin just killed a whole Death Star. How many people died on that?
I think everyone mostly feels bad for Manny Jacinto and Lee Jung-jae. So, what's this online abuse you're talking about? Forbes reports that the divisive viewership is explainable by the racism, misogyny, and overall harassment of the cast, which has poisoned every conversation about the show. Well, if Forbes said it, it must be true, I guess. Every conversation about this show is about racism, misogyny, and harassment of the cast? So when I and everyone else was pointing out that a Stone Mountain fortress caught on fire because May burned a book, what was that? Was that racism or misogyny? Watch all of my videos on it. Watch everyone else's videos on it. I literally went through each episode with it playing in the background and commented on the stupidity that was on the screen. A lot of people did the exact same thing. I wasn't exactly a trailblazer with this one. Let me find this article real quick. Let's see. All right. Forbes, The Acolyte, racism, misogyny. All right, I'm going to guess it's this one. All right, we're not going to do the same thing with this article. We're not going to go through the whole thing. Just Control F, racism. Well, this probably isn't from it, but this comment, no evidence of racism or misogyny in the review bombing. People hate the show because it's awful and it totally upended the entire sky. All right, thank you, Matthew S. I wasn't expecting that. That's what I was expecting. Matthew S. is a dog. I love him. All right. Okay, that's at the very end of the article. It's about racism, misogyny, and overall harassment of the cast, which is pointing in every conversation. Okay. So-called fans, right? If you don't love everything about Star Wars that Disney has done, you're not actually a fan. Yeah, sure. All right, let's see. Is there any evidence that we can find here? Hey. Ray Charming YouTubers has gotten that. That's me. Oh, it's from week 3. Okay, so I don't see anything except it got a lot of bad reviews, and it got more reviews than other Star Wars TV shows because, well, probably people were more, emotional about it. They hated it more. Like this age-old claim that it's been review bombed. Maybe people just don't write reviews for something unless it pushes them very strongly to one side. Like this writer didn't even think the show was good. Just okay. I don't know why he put it in quotes, but he did. How come you can say it's just okay and you're not a racist or a misogynist, but if I say it was bad, I am one? It's almost like your standard is non-existent. I wonder if this guy thinks the show deserved a second season. I'd be very interested. All right. On Rotten Tomatoes, the show received a 78% approval rating, and The Last Jedi received a 90% approval rating or something, and it began the downfall of the greatest IP in cinematic history. What's your point? However, Disney Plus and Lucasfilm have yet to release a statement on the nature of the cancellation. But we are hearing whispers that they might just delete the show from Disney Plus and take a tax write-off, which would be the perfect ending to this show. Oh, that would be amazing. Diva Magazine celebrates 30 years in print in 2024. If you like what we do, then get behind LGBTQIA media and keep us going for another generation. Okay, but the LGBTQIA community didn't get behind the LGBTQIA media in The Acolyte. If this show was so big for that community, which includes at this point supposedly some 20 million adults in the US alone, then y'all should have gotten behind it and pushed it to more than 7 million viewers for its finale. It's like women complaining about WNBA players not getting paid enough, but also not being willing to watch a WNBA game. Because the truth is, everyone hated The Acolyte, even most of the people it was trying to pander to. So, Diva, I don't like what you do, but if you, viewer, like what I do, then subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you soon.